What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another video. So I figured I will make a small video on white and gray transmog items, because I haven't really made one since all the hype when the patch released and you could finally transmog white and gray items. Now, I've personally made millions of gold after that without really focusing on white and gray items. I just stick to what was working for me. I know I could have made a lot more gold if I focused on some of the unique gray and white items, but I've only hold on to the farms, a couple of farms that I'm going to mention in today's video. So before we dive into that, if you haven't yet picked up a copy of the 0 to 10 million gold guide, make sure to use the discount code DRAGONFLIGHT for 50% off. Now, this guide is over 180 pages long, and it features the best tactics and methods that I personally do in order to achieve multiple gold caps. Even better, it's an electronic book, like a PDF format, so that gives me the option to update the book for free every single time there's a new patch or expansion. That means I just update the book and I send the updated version to your email automatically. Now, if you want to take a look at that, it's going to be linked in the description down below, together with the VIP Discord. That also comes with a bunch of exclusive content, like being able to watch all of these YouTube videos before anyone else. Now, we're going to go through a couple of items, how to get them, why they're so good, and then also some crafted items in particular that you should be doing. The first one takes place right here in Argus, Crocoon. So you do have to spend like 5-10 minutes in order to unlock the zones if you haven't done that already. And then you want to go all the way up to Navrax's Hold, like right here, because these guys have a really good density in a very small area, and they hyper spawn like absolute crazy. Now, you'll notice how these guys will drop a shit ton of gray items, and I've sold some of them, but the main item that we want to go for on these guys is the eye patch, the soggy Moarg eye patch that I've made 256,790 gold on so far. These bad boys right here, as you can see on all the things, the add-on, they do share appearances, but all the other appearances are leather items, and then there's one cosmetic item that's really hard to get, right? So the soggy Moarg eye patch is the only male item that looks like a black eye patch. That's why it's selling so well, because if you play like an evoker, shaman, a hunter, you pretty much need this one in order to transmog it to look like this black eye patch. And it's not that hard to get. My record was 9 eye patches in 1 hour. Doing it in a 5-man group though, right? So I don't do this farm often, but I always make sure that I have these on the auction house no matter what. Now, another one is one that I made a video on, and it's all of these items. The Shoddy Gray set. Now, it was kind of tricky to figure out how these items dropped, but they are very good. And I've sold a couple of them. Like, right above 2 weeks ago, I sold this Shoddy chain vest alone for 22,800 gold, and I've had to restock them. So I'm going to show you guys how to farm those efficiently. The entire set is not unique, but there's like half the set is unique, half of it shares appearances with some items, but you're going to get all the items while trying to get the unique items anyways, because they are literally zone drops, so it's kind of hard to farm specifically for the belt or the vest and so on. But I have made a tune called Shoddy Farm specifically for this farm. Because you need to do it on a low level. If you go here on your level 70, it won't drop. You need to be the same level as the mobs were originally, and it's insane how many farms are working that way. There's insane how many items are actually in the game that nobody knew about, because they don't seem to drop on people's max level tune. But if you play a tune at the original level of the mob, then they will all of a sudden start dropping, right? So you want to make a low-level tune, and you go behind the Sunspire on Eversong Woods, the Sunstrider Isle, and you just kill these small tiger mobs. Like, you will literally never run out of mobs, because it's a quest area with quest mobs, so they are gonna hyper spawn like crazy, and it's super easy to get the items. Like, they drop all the time, so it's more the fact that people aren't aware of it. That's the reason why there's not that many on the auction house, and why they're so expensive, because people, they have no clue. They don't know how to farm, and maybe they've seen the items on the auction house and they're like, shit, I'm gonna go and farm this, and they're definitely not doing it on a brand new character where they can actually drop from. So highly recommend you, as it's so easy to do as well. Just make a blood elf and go to this area and start killing these tigers, and start farming the items. It's as simple as that, really. Now, that was one of the farms. The next farm is not going to come as a surprise to a lot of people, because if you're watching my weekly mailbox cleanouts, you'll notice that I have historically sold a ton of this. But I have been kind of slacking on farming them lately, but it's so good. And it's a tune that I named Pitchforks. It's a super solid farm. It's an item that has a cool appearance. So people aren't necessarily just buying it to add it to their collection, but it's a transmog that people actually want to use. And it's a pitchfork item. It just literally looks like a pitchfork. There's many like it. The only difference with this one is that it's gray, and it can be farmed easily on a death knight. Like, everyone can go out and farm this item. You just literally go down to the field right here, and you kill the mobs, the villager mobs, and that's pretty much it. The only reason why I haven't farmed it is because I've been on this tune right here, and I've been purchasing this white set. This I'm going to show you guys the bone plated set right here. It performs really well, and right now I can see that I've already sold some of the items, so I need to restock. So that's also another tip for you. This is a complete well, almost complete unique set, like some of the items are. So make sure to grab the set as well when you're on this tune, farming for the pitchforks. Now, next up is an absolute banger. I absolutely love this farm. I know a lot of people are still making really good gold on this one, and I've also featured this in the video even 8 years ago, because even back then it sold just for the look of it. You couldn't even transmog the item back then, but people would still buy it. And we're of course talking about the Blood Elf Bandit mask. Really good item. It's a white item, and it has a unique appearance. And it's tricky, but at the same time relatively easy to farm. Now, the Blood Elf Bandit mask drops from these bad boys right here, the Blood Elf Bandits. They are stealthed mobs and can be located at any of these locations. As soon as you kill one, another one will spawn, but where it spawns, there's no system to it, so you pretty much just got to run between these locations looking for the Blood Elf Bandits. And it's a very expensive item, as I said. It's a cosmetic item right now since the patch. And if we take a look at it, you'll see that this one clown who posted it for 13k, like, some people are ruining the prices of them, but they have a very high sell rate, and they perform really well because it's a cosmetic item, and the only other items with the same appearance being the Terox masks and one green item, but they're both leather items. That's why it's doing so well, and they sell really fast. Now, I'm doing this on my hunter. The reason why I'm doing it on the hunter is because hunters can track hidden mobs. So you don't need to run around and spam a /target Blood Elf Bandit macro or anything like that. You can just do it on your hunter with the tracking on, and the mob will be marked on the minimap. So kind of handy, but it doesn't matter what tune you farm it on, really. I would also advise you to do this in different chromie timelines, as well as war mode on and off, because there is people farming these actively, but it's no problem to find the mobs and get the mask if you're clever about it and you actually use chromie time and war mode on and off, because people usually just have one toon that they camp in the area, but the only use of that toon is to kill the Blood Elf bandits. But if you have multiple toons, you can log between them and kill like multiple bandits at the same time, right? So next up, now that we've featured like the active farms that I do, I also make a lot of gold focused on a couple of different crafts. And these crafts are all extremely easy to get. We're not talking about like rhinestone, right? Or the top hat, where you're going to have to spend a lot of time farming Cat of World bosses or spend a lot of gold buying the patterns in order to craft those. No, we're talking about basic, this shit that you will literally learn at the vendors. So, to nobody's surprise, what's really good, even though there's a million people doing it, is going to be the Shadowlands base legendary items. So for a tailoring toon, you have the Grim Veiled set. Now, take notes though, a lot of people are messing up on this and losing gold when they're crafting it because they have different ranks. And the amount of materials needed for the different ranks is drastically increased by the higher the rank it is. Like, for instance, on these shoulders, if I want to craft a rank 4 shoulder, I need to spend 40 shards, right? While a level 1 is only 10. So make sure every time that you craft that you're crafting the rank 1s. That's what I'm doing. And it is making a shit ton of gold. You can do this on your tailoring, blacksmithing, and also leatherworking too. And the only thing you need is to have like Torghast unlocked, and you need to level like Shadowlands profession, so Shadowlands tailoring, for instance, to level 100, and you will literally just get the quest that will teach you how to craft the base Shadowlands items. It's very simple. Now, you also have some basic blacksmithing weapons to craft that they are doing okay-ish, but from my personal experience and all the realms that I'm crafting on, the items doing best are just basic crafts with tailoring, right? Where you have like just these robes, for instance. You have a lot of different robes. Every single robe you want to craft, like you have the tuxedo jacket, you also have the legs. You have a lot of robes that you can easily craft, like even simple stuff like brown linen vest. Like, it all adds up. They cost like 10 silver to craft, sells for 150 gold, but you can sell a ton of these, even daily, like many of these every single day. And you also have one that a lot of people are missing out on, and that is if you go to Cataclysm, because most people just look at Classic, because that's generally where you'll find the white crafts. But there is a robe called the Black Ember Silky Gown on Cataclysm as well. Costs 100 gold to craft, and it usually sells for thousands of gold. So that also makes me a decent amount of gold. But yeah, blacksmithing items, there's a couple of them. I always have them up on the auction house. They don't tend to do really well. Same thing with leatherworking, but tailoring items are doing extremely well. So that's pretty much what I'm focused about when it comes to gray and white items. However, though, like, whenever I do another gold farm, if I'm doing like a dungeon, an open world farm, trying to get grays, blues, and epics, I always take a look at the white and the gray items, because sometimes they have unique items that performs really well. One of the best examples of that is if we go to Kalimdor at Northern Barrens, like this farm right here, like around a lake called Sludge Fen. This is a really good transmog farm, always have been. The green items are really good with a unique appearance, but now that you can transmog gray and also white items, it's also a really good gold farm for gray and white items. So at the same time, I'm always making sure that I have those stock, because I've been selling like white bracers and belts for 20,000 gold each from the farm. But yeah, hopefully this video was helpful to some of you guys. If it was, make sure to press the thumbs up on the video. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't, and you can always feel free to check out the 0 to 10 million gold guide together with the VIP Discord, both linked down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all back in at tomorrow's video. Until then, bye bye.